celebrate. Now, this country is such a unique and beautiful country. I love Kenya with all my heart. I've had opportunities to go out of the country, and I've had even invitations to go and live outside the country. But I refused because I love my country. My heart is in Kenya. In fact, I think I'm the one who should have sung the song that was done by Eric Wainaina. He's not the one who sang My Land is Kenya. That was sung by somebody else.
Yes.
I am the one who should have sung that song by Eric Wainaina. I am Kenya. I'm Kenya Daima. Because I love this country so much. And so, every Friday we discuss some of the things that are happening in our country. Some great stuff and some, well, not so great. And it's going to be the same today. We're going to discuss a couple of things that are happening that kind of help you see what kind of leadership you have in place, either in your county, in your constituency, or overall in the country as a whole. And so we're going to touch on that. To help me do that today, I've got Matthew Wasonga. Welcome.
Thank you, Fred, for having me.
Matthew Wasonga is from Rongai.
Yes.
The lands where lions just appear and start, roaming in the streets. Wild animals. These are guys who should be given visas to come into Nairobi. Anyway, Wasonga, one of the things that is happening in this country that's gotten me concerned is the state of education.
Yeah.
President Mwai Kibaki introduced the free education in the country.
Thank you, Fred.
And now the current government says that we've been living a dream, that it is not possible to sustain the free education.
It's funny, and thank you first for having me this Friday. It's so sad for the school-going kids and to the parents that we are, despite having the hard economy, then they have to still go deep into their pocket to fund education. Kibaki introduced free primary education in 2002. Then Uhuru Kenyatta decided to introduce capitation to secondary school in around 2013. President Uhuru Kenyatta thought that the idea of free primary education was a very brilliant idea, and it is something that we should embrace. Taking into account that you remember during that time, there are those who could not even afford the primary school education. The majority had even dropped out of school. So when Kibaki introduced free primary education, we saw a higher number of school-going kids. In fact, what the Gen Zs today should have fought, and maybe they should put into consideration, is that they are the biggest beneficiary of free primary education, courtesy of President Mwai Kibaki.
Actually, the current Gen Zs are
the product. Yes. Yeah, because if you look at the age bracket of the Gen Zs, they are actually the beneficiaries of the free primary education. So I think if there is anything this will protect as a patriotic Kenyans is the right to education, and also not allow government to deny other Kenyans the opportunity to education. What is happening today, what majority of Kenyans found somehow so hypocritical, is that if we look at the kind of wastage of resources within the government, it's so alarming when the CS minister will come that we don't have money to pay for our school-going kids. There is no money for capitation for the secondary school, but there is 100 million being dished out every week in the name of empowerment, of which this empowerment does not even seem like empowerment. We saw the other time on the news, and I think EBN aired it, when a woman from Kisii was lamenting that they were being given 64 bob in the name of empowerment. So you sometimes you wonder, is it that we like to do politics even with the lives and the future of our country? Why should a president or a government be dishing out hundreds of millions every week, and the same government come and tell Kenyans that they don't have money to fund education? It's ridiculous, Fred. How a government, the president of a Republic of Kenya, will stand on a national television and says that they are building a 1.2 billion church in State House, but there is no money for education?
It does not make sense.
Is it even making sense? The same government will go out renovating all the state lodges across the country as it is some kind of emergency, but there is no money for education. If, as a country, our education sector is collapsing, our health sector is already in the high dependence unit, HDU. So where are we heading as a country? Okay, where are we heading as a country?
Yes.
Do we continue like this? So I think it is time that this is what CS Mbadi says is a good indication that this current regime does not deserve even a day in office after 10th August.
Every civilization,
Yes,
every civilization has either developed or collapsed based on their education system or their learning system.
Exactly.
If you go to the Scandinavian countries, and that's the reason why the Scandinavian countries are some of the best countries in terms of, you know, equitable distribution of resources, is they take the best brains
Yes.
to the education sector.
Exactly.
The A's, you know, the top, the creme de la creme are the teachers in the Scandinavian countries. When you come to Kenya, we take the lower cadre of education. These are the people who are training people. And as a result of that, the education system is messed up. The current education system was set up by the colonials.
Yes.
And remember, the colonials were looking for people who are going to work in their farms.
Yes.
So that's the way it's been shaped. If you don't educate, if you don't give education to your people, and free education at that, at least ensure people are able to access the basic education. If you're taking away that, then you got your priorities
completely
upside
wrong.
down.
Yes, because you know, sometimes I wonder. It was on Friday that we were here with some gentlemen who are real supporters of this broad-based government, and they were arguing that it's only the Kenya Kwanza government that has given the highest allocation to education sector. Then I'm asking.
It's true.
I'm asking myself.
They brought in
Around 700 billion.
The most teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now, don't you think it's so ridiculous? You tell us you've given education sector the highest allocation, and you still come and tell us we don't have money to fund this. Is it even really making sense? Okay.
It's not.
Apart from the elites like Fred and the company,
Yes.
those who understand, look at it from that a PP1 going kid perspective. How do you want to tell Kenyans that I've allocated 700 billion for the education sector?
Yes.
But at the same time, we don't have money to fund the same education. What is all this? What were you allocating all this money for? Okay?
Yes.
You know, sometimes I find it, sometimes, Fred, I would rather like to reason like that common mwananchi who just hang around.
Yes.
You know, unfortunately, they are the majority.
Yes.
And they look at things from a very different angle.
Yes.
This Mama Mboga, all he wants is just to see his kid in school, nothing else. Yeah. He just want, if you can take care of the education, because majority of the families in Kenya, when their kids go to school, they see them as their only hope. Fred, people are suffering out here. Let us not lie to ourselves. Forget the group that drive cars across the town. People suffer. There are families, a majority of families in this country, that even survive on 1 meal a day.
You know,
majority. Some can even go without a meal. They can even the whole day. Okay, he has not eaten anything. Hajakula kitu the whole day. Okay, but this parent, this mother or son will sacrifice everything for their kids with the hope that when my son eventually graduates, then I will see some sign of hope. This kid will now come and rescue me. Now that is the dream of the majority of the vulnerable family, is what is being killed by the same government we voted in to bring more hope to us. It's a very distressful situation, friend.
The greatest inheritance one can give to his children
is education.
Is education.
Exactly.
Because you give them the capacity,
yes,
and you equip them to live in this world.
In fact,
if you take away education, even if you give them billions of shillings, but they don't have education, you've messed them up.
They will not even manage the money, friend.
Yes.
Even if you are that billionaire, you are a billionaire with quite a number of billions in your account. But these your kids lack the basic education. They will just mismanage these funds. It will not help them. And we are not educating our kids so that they can help us in return. But we are doing this so that they can even be better than us. They can live a better life than that we have, so that they don't suffer. But now this, we have a government. You know, I think what President William Ruto should understand is that he should now sit down with his advisors and set the priorities right. Okay? He should not continue messing up this country the way he's doing. If he go out killing education, what else is he going after? Why should the president build affordable housing and you cannot educate a nation? Between affordable housing and education, which one should we give priority? Okay? You go about launching projects. But why then do you launch projects when we don't have educations? Okay, you say that the growth of a country is measured with how educated that country is, Fred. Let us not lie to ourselves. If we have good brains, if we have good brains, we will not even, if President William Ruto, the way we are going, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, we'll have to import experience from out country. Okay, we'll have to import engineers from the neighboring country because our own are not. We don't have those brains to do the things that we have to do. So where are we going as a country? That's why I'm saying from where I said that this government does not even deserve a one-day extension of its tenure in office because they are going to mess up this country.
Education, I remember, I've told you this before, that my firstborn went to university during Uhuru Kenyatta's period. And I think it was very subsidized. We literally, I was paying almost 15,000 shillings.
Yes.
Right now, I'm paying almost 140,000 shillings per term. And so that's university. Yes, per semester, sorry.
Yes.
So that meaning,
that's the university education.
Yes, the subsidization of the university education is
gone
there. Down the drain. Now it's coming down to
secondary school
and the primary school, in the sense that you will not have free. In fact, I was listening to the chairs, secretary generals of the teachers union.
Yes.
And they're now saying we might see the schools closing earlier because they don't have money. And starting next term, they are going to demand parents to pay school fees without expectation, without expecting money from the government. This is unthinkable. As in, we are going back past 2002.
And 2002, we are going back to the Moi eras.
Yes. Actually, we are going
back to the Moi era, but we were paying for everything. That's why, Fred, I said that where we are as a nation, Fred, we need. The other day when we were talking about the youths and the agencies, and I said here, and I will repeat myself, that the remaining 2 years towards general election, we as Kenyans, we should use these 2 years to do a very thorough soul search and think the kind of a country we want to have and live for our generations to come. Because, Fred, if we don't just think and we just look at things and seeing one term Ruto must go chorus and divide ourselves along tribal line, then we are facing at a problem bigger than what we think. Okay? Whatever we are looking at, we need to sit down and say that this is what we've achieved. And we should first secure whatever we've achieved. We've achieved
we first secure what we have achieved.
Exactly. Rather than rubbishing whatever we've achieved in the name of demanding of the unknown. This is what we know. We had the free primary education. President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his own wisdom, introduced the capitation. In fact, Fred, I can tell you, in most cases, the day schools were almost free. Because what the parents were paying were for the feeding. That was lunch. I think that was the only thing they were paying. It was only lunch and books. But the tuition fee and the capitation covered the day school fees. So across the country, the day schools were actually free. When you go to the boarding school, what the parents were paying were the boarding fees and the meals. Okay? That's what the parents are saying. But now the government is telling us that even the lead that the government were paying, they are no longer going to pay it. Meaning we are looking at a situation whereby we are going back to pay back the day schools that are there across the country. Okay? So as a country, this is now the time that we need to sit down and ask that, is this the kind of regime we want? Yesterday I was talking to a certain gentleman, a certain lady at my place in Rongai, and we were talking about the nation and how this country is. And I was telling him that the question should be, our focus now as a country is not on who is going. We all know and agree that Ruto and this regime are going home. And I'm happy that Raila Amolo Odinga is also joining the going home, and now they will retire peacefully with this brother Ruto. Okay, yes. I'm happy with that. Now they are going to retire so that we can usher in new leadership. But the big question that I will like to ask Kenya is that who is coming next? And what is the difference between who is going and who is coming? Okay? Ruto is now trying to finish even the education sector. What is it that the person coming will do to revive the education that is already collapsing? That is what we need, because we cannot have a country full of people that are an uneducated country. Okay, we are staring at a crisis, Fred. Yes, already we have a crisis, and Ruto is introducing even a more crisis. So I think on this one, the CS Mbadi has just messed it all. And there is no any way even the ODM party is going to salvage himself out of this, because they are part and parcel of this government. Even though some of them within the ODM party will say we are not, but they are part of it. Whoever is saying this was the chairman of ODM party, John Mbadi, and he said that the government does not have money to pay for education. While they were campaigning, going across the country, they promised a free secondary education. We can't even bring the ideas that they were telling Kenyans when they were campaigning for Raila, and say the ideas to President Ruto, so that we can even see they can even implement, if not the entire Azimio manifesto, they even implement 50% of it. We don't need the 6,000 they were promising Kenyans, but we need the free secondary education they were promising us. Not coming and telling us that they don't have money to fund education and they have money to throw around. Okay? President Ruto has break the record as the president has have traveled out of the country for the longest time. Many times he has been out of this country. In fact, I'm even surprised to be seen he's in the country. Okay? I'm surprised that the last 1 month he has not gone somewhere.
Yes.
He's around. You know, it's unusual. It's so unusual of him. Okay? So I think on education, this one is one of the worst decisions being made by the Kenya Kwanza government. And I think on this, touching education, this is down. Even if all the reasons we didn't have any other reason to send this government home, then on this, we have 101 reason to send him home.
You know, I remember during the, Fred Matiang'i is the one who basically shepherded a good education system, the transitions and all that.
Yes.
We were actually going to a point where we are almost getting to a 100% transition.
Yes.
From primary to secondary school.
Yes.
We were almost getting there.
Yeah.
Right now, I was looking at the latest information. We have over 300,000 students from secondary schools who did not apply to COOPs to be taken to any local universities. Over 300,000
students
who had qualified. By the way, they had good marks and all that.
But they did not apply.
They did not apply. Majority of them is because their families cannot afford
exactly
to take them to university. So mtu anaangalia anaona, I will not be able to afford this, I will not even apply.
And now
Yet
the president come and tell you that they have education funding system.
That education, the higher education funding system is the most useless system you've ever seen. In fact, and don't take my word for it, let me tell you, this is the Auditor General Nancy Gadongo. She appeared before the National Assembly Cohesion and Equal Opportunities Committee on the 15th of April. And they are saying that the higher education funding model is faulty. Because if your dad maybe worked at a certain place, he's already retired.
Yes.
That education system, if you went to an academy, primary school, that education system assumes that right now you are
well off.
Yeah, you're well off. You don't need this help. So it's locked out so many people from this. And you're starting to see university students, some of them, doing very funny things. Go to Koinange Street, and you'll find, I'm telling you the truth, is a research that has been done. Go to Koinange Street, you'll find students from the UON and other universities. Yes. They are trading their bodies there to be able to pay their school fees.
It's sad, Fred. That's why I'm saying that this government have reached, the Kenyans, wametufikia kwa koo. It's boiling. And I think we don't have any other option. When CS Matiang'i, then CS for Education, were advocating for 100% transitional from primary to secondary school.
Yes.
What the then government had in mind was the capitation, because they says,
yes,
in fact, it was during that time that they were saying that let us even introduce more day schools.
Yes.
If you remember,
yeah.
They were even saying that even these so-called national schools,
yes,
we should look at a way that we can even add them more.
So
They
students,
can even be day schools,
Yeah.
so that they come from home. Remember, it
some
was
of the students
Yes.
during that period were actually, I don't know whether it's happening now,
Yes.
were going to the boarding schools
Yes.
as day school students.
Yes.
They go, they study, they go home.
They go home because they were both. Most majority of school, even that school I studied, they were both the boarding and the day schools wings. So why were they saying this? They were saying that if the government can take care of the day schools, this will give parents, even those coming from the most vulnerable, opportunity to go to school and get education just like any other kid whose parents can afford, without any being discriminated. They were giving us equal opportunity for every kids to go to school. Today, you are saying that over 300,000 students that did their Form 4s and actually attend a university entry grade
Yes.
did not apply.
Yes.
I
They
don't
did
know how
apply.
many students that finished class 8 and were to go to Form 1 who did not even attend the high schools.
True.
And the government seems that everything is okay. Okay? The same government is saying that there are allocations for the unknown schools. Okay?
There is allocation for
Unknown schools. Like there was one for Bomet High School.
Oh, they were funding schools that don't exist.
That does not even exist. Okay? That can tell you how much corruption has hidden into this government. And the president seems to be so much comfortable. If a president cannot come out to comment on education sector and the education status of a country, but the same president is so quick to reply on political comment made by politicians,
Yes.
then that can tell you how much our priorities are not doing well, Fred.
Yes.
I think now this is the time that the Kenyans will now understand the mess we are in, courtesy of this rogue government called the Kenya Kwanza regime.
You can mess with anything else, but for a person to feel part and parcel and feel secure in a country, even Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a country at war.
Yes.
But they are providing
Education.
free education,
Yes.
from primary all the way to university.
Exactly.
Burkina Faso, you do your research.
Yes.
It's a country at war right
At war.
now as we speak.
But they are providing free
But for
education.
yes, they are providing
It's
free education. So for a person to feel secure in a country, you have to guarantee them education, guarantee them food security, guarantee them health, and at least a place where they can place their heads.
You know what, Fred? If you can guarantee, I will not, a place where they can place their head. If you provide the basic need for anybody, you provide education for this person,
Yes.
you provided good health, you provided food security, definitely this person will find somewhere he can put him health. Even if you don't provide where they can put their head, they will definitely provide that for themselves. Because unhealthy educated person will always find somewhere he
It's a
can
problem.
put. If someone is healthy
Yes.
and you are educated,
Oh, you
you can
sort
always fight
yourself.
for yourself.
Yes.
Let us not lie to ourselves,
Yes,
Fred.
you sort yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
If as a parent, let us look at it from a family angle. If as a father, you've educated your kids, okay? They are healthy. You have ensured that their health is covered. You will not be worried even if you are not there. You'll show that even if I'm not there, these gentlemen and ladies will take care of themselves. So you will not even be worried. Even if your father did not give you that big portion of land,
Inheritance or anything. But
any
he gave you
inheritance,
education.
and he
And
gave
you
you
are healthy.
education,
Hey.
and you are healthy, my friend, you will fight for yourself. You'll even manage your way to buy land. You know, I was talking to my friend from Central, my brothers from Kikuyu, and they were telling me, by then I was at home and I have a friend who is a police officer. He was saying me, nyinyi Wajaluo mko vizuri because mko na shamba. Sisi wa Kikuyu unaweza pata baba kona vijana watano na shamba kakwota eka. So the only thing we can invest in is education. If you reach a certain level, you go find for yourself. Okay, and they didn't see any problem because they've been empowered. And the first empowerment you can give to a country and to anybody is education. If the government kills education, meaning that we're not having a country that is being empowered. Okay? Every sector in this country is not doing well. You talk of health sector, it's not doing well. This is only the country that someone is killed in an hospital.
Yes. Actually, 2 people were murdered in a hospital, Kenyatta National Hospital,
Yes.
by the same guy.
Exactly. And also a lady is being forced to, and this doctor who was killed at Chiromo.
Yes.
Our health sector is crying, Fred. Education sector is now collapsing, not even crying, it's collapsing. Okay? How then are we sure about the food security? I want to plead to Kenyans
Food
that
security, let me help you.
how sure are we?
They sold, I remember there are a number of people, I was reading a report, I think in the course of this week, that have been highlighted as, actually they were taken to court, having sold extremely substandard fertilizer to farmers. So these guys are so consumed by money that the only thing that
They think of is enriching themselves.
It's just money, 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 enriching themselves to a point whereby they are willing to give farmers horrible fertilizers that is going to destroy the farms.
In an essence, that nothing is working in this country. And I think we as Kenyans, what we should be looking out to is that the next regime, or whoever we are going to vote in as the next president come 2027, should first give us a guarantee and a clear picture on our education and health. Even if we don't talk about any other things, but let us first have an educated and healthy country. Then once we secure the health and the education of this country, the rest we can take care of. Yes. As I said,
security,
health and education. The rest we can take care of ourselves. Because one thing I know with Kenyans, Fred, is that Kenya is a country that with full of hardworking men and women in this country. Kenyans are really working hard. So if our government can just secure their health and education, and they have and security, I'm very sure this country they will find a way to sort the other things. Okay? As a matter of an agency, the next governments will now take care of education and our health, plus security. Then the rest will sort as we think the way out. But as it is now, we cannot be in a country whereby everything is messed up. That's why I said, let us first secure whatever little we have. That is now, and I will say that, and maybe I will talk with some of my friends and start a campaign that in the next election, we will only carry two things. Number one, we will carry our brains to the polling station. Our brain must not remain at home.
Yes, not your heart.
No, our brain, not our heart, our brain. Yes. Because our heart will start pumping towards tribal and political parties. But we must carry our brain. Our brain will always remind us of our problem. Your brain will always remind you of that your son and daughter who is at home because you can't pay their school fees, courtesy of President William Ruto and this rock government. Okay? Our brain will remind us of the number of days we've gone without food, courtesy of this bad economy introduced to us by this rock government. We must carry our brain as a matter of priority and urgency towards that polling day. And our voter card or IDs. The two we must carry. Okay, it will not be business as usual, whereby we'll always carry our tribe parties and Raila or Ruto. No, we will carry our brain this time round. Because we cannot continue in a country and give leaders the opportunity to continue messing our country up. When we sit back and say, like, we cannot assume that, like, nothing is happening when everything is going wrong.
You know, there's something you said. You talked about how people are going around dishing out money. Yet the education system is collapsing. The members of parliament are fighting for their CDF.
Yes.
Instead of this money, and what they do, that CDF, a lot of it is used on bursary and stuff. Take this money, put it in one place, have education free. Because maybe KK people are not seeing this. The moment you invade the pockets of the people, which is what is going to happen, because once parents start paying fees, I can assure you, you will pay during the election. Because they will want to make sure that you are out of government quick, fast, in a hurry. So this is one place they cannot afford to mess up.
Fred, let me tell you one thing. And I know you are so much, you have a lot of knowledge biblically. You're so much versed with the Bible verses.
Yes.
There is a verse, if you don't know which verse it is, maybe you'll help me with this, that says that a heart of a man is where his wealth is. I don't know from which verse of the Bible. But even the Bible recognizes that where your health is, that is where your heart is. Majority of Kenyans, their wealth is their kids.
Yes.
You know, there are many families here that don't have those big acres of land, but they have kids. That is where their heart is. That is where their mind, because they look at it, that is their biggest investment they have. The moment you mess up with their kids, you don't expect that person to smile at you. And this government is smelling. Let me tell you one thing. The CDF, the national government CDF, our MPs does not need CDF. It is because our MPs does not even know their key responsibility. That's why they are fighting for CDF. Okay? In 2002, 2007, going backwards, we didn't have CDF. But we were electing member of parliament. Okay? CDF, the construction of these schools and police is not the work of a member of parliament. The key responsibility of a member of parliament is oversight, representation, and legislation. Not building schools and roads. It is you as a member of parliament to ensure that during every financial year, because they're the people who sit in that parliament to come up with this budget, they should know that this is what have been allocated for the roads construction in this country. This is what is been allocated in my constituency. Then I must ensure that this money that has been allocated to my constituency is not being squandered by some individuals. Okay? But why do MPs fight over this this CDF? If you look at the CDF across the country, the main thing that CDF does is to build chief camps, ofisi ya machifu, give out bursary, and maybe renovate some few schools. Now, why should a CDF renovate a school and we have a budget for the Ministry of Education? What is this budget doing? Friend, if you walk across the country today, you will see most of these classes across the country. You can start with Kajiado North. Do it even in your home constituency. Yes. You'll see every renovation done in every school. A member of parliament has put his name, funded by the national government, CDF, patron, honorable, so and so. Then you ask yourself, then why should a CDF, a member of parliament, build a classroom with the CDF money, and we've allocated 700 billion for the Ministry of Education? What is this 700 billion for? And the same Ministry of Education tell us that they don't have money even to fund our kids. Okay? This is the same education that teachers are on strike there every now and then. In fact, we will not even be surprised if January they will say there is strike again.
January is even too far.
Even next month.
Because
next term.
Yes, because if the government does not provide the capitation, the schools are unable to operate.
Yes.
And the students, the children are being sent home, and they will be sent home early because the CS Treasury Mbadi has already said
that they don't have money.
We don't have money. We don't have money for education.
So you ask yourself that then why can now the Minister of Education, CS Migos, come and tell us as Kenyans what is the 700 billion for? You cannot tell us that you are allocating 700 billion to pay teachers and even to hire new teachers. No. What is this 700 billion for? That is the only thing that we are interested to know, because the CDF, most of our schools, friend, let us not lie to ourselves. Most of our schools we've seen these CDF things on them. So I don't know who will take the credit. Is it the ministry or the?
I actually think we can almost blame the IMF. Because I see the tentacles of IMF in all this. Because the IMF is the one that comes with structural adjustments where they start saying you have to fire people from government offices. You see, the most ridiculous thing that has happened is now the military. Yes. The subsidy they had been given on food has been taken away. And there is disquiet within the military concerning that. At least if the newspapers, if yesterday's newspapers were anything to go by, lest Subarus come for me and they say I'm the one who's pushing this. It was in the newspaper yesterday. So when you, anytime, any place you see this kind of thing, the taking away of things that are mostly subsidized, always read the IMF. IMF was kicked out in Burkina Faso and the French and the US.
Yes.
So that's why they are able to do what they want to do.
Exactly.
IMF has never made any country prosper, apart from the main European countries. Their intention of the IMF and the World Bank is to make African or third world countries to become dependent so that they can continue raping the resources of the African continent. France was taking oil and gold out of Burkina Faso and taking it to France. France does not have gold mines.
They don't?
But, yes, but they have humongous gold reserves.
Where were they getting from?
They've stolen them from Africa.
From Africa?
Belgium. The entire DRC was the farm of one person from Belgium.
Yes.
And they've ripped that country dry. Trump is now going to DRC. What's his interest? The resources. He has no interest in them.
Just put it in a layman term that Africa as a continent is one of the richest continents in terms of mineral resources.
Yes, but we are the poorest.
But we are the poorest. That's when I say that we are, unfortunately, we are the richest and the poorest.
Yes.
And that is what is happening. We've allowed ourselves that we buy so much into this colonial mentality to an extent that we've even decided not to free ourselves from it altogether. We are still entangled with it that we find it so hard to free it. And that's why you realize most of African countries are struggling.
Yes.
Because of the fear of the unknown.
Every time we are struggling now, not because we don't have resources,
but because of the fear of the unknown. It's like we've decided to become our own problem.
This program being about leadership,
yes,
this is where African leaders need to stand up.
Exactly.
Why every time we are told this country is bad, if you look at the reason why we are told that country is bad, is because it has refused to subject itself to what the Western countries are saying. Gaddafi, even Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, we were told he was a rogue guy.
Yes.
But if you look
at it, he was not actually rogue. Look at Gaddafi.
He just refused to yield what they wanted.
You know, it is just common that when someone decided not to deny you whatever, it's in the nature of human beings that if I request a favor from Fred, and Fred says no, then the other person will now come and say, huyu jamaa nakwanga mtu mbaya sana.
Ni mgumu.
Ni mgumu.
Tumuoe.
But you will not even reason yourself. Maybe he said no because maybe he has also had some other things or he has got some personal things. Yes. But this one has even transitional even to our leaders and everything. Okay? That's why when the Westerns come and say, now we want to do this to a certain country, when that leader say no, this is what is right for my people, they will now come and start saying, but in the actual sense, this person is just selfish of his people. He just needs the best for his country and for his people. Like what is happening in Burkina Faso. What Traore needs is for the best of the people of Burkina Faso. Then he has now said that this guy is a rebel. No, he's not. This is just someone that has wake up and say, now, this is what we have as a country and we must secure whatever resources we have. And this one is for the people of Burkina Faso. In Kenya today, we have a lot of mineral resources.
Yes.
But we are struggling. We cannot even fund education. Why?
The gold
in Kakamega,
in Kakamega,
in some part of Nyanza. You understand? Today, somewhere in Homa Bay County, people are even trooping that area because there are some gold that have been discovered in that area. Where are these resources going to? Okay, can we even make good use of our natural resources to fund ourselves, Fred? That's why I'm saying that this government is messing this country up, and we need in 2027, please, dear Kenyans, carry your brain. Forget everything, but don't forget your brain, please.
Compare President Ruto at the beginning and President Ruto now. President Ruto at the beginning was seen as a what you can call one of the leaders of the African Renaissance. He was talking about how Africa needs to come together. We need to stop being taken by, these countries to go there. African leaders bumped into one place. You go, you have only 3 minutes with the president of either Russia, US, or China, and then you're taking photos and then you're bundled back. That's what he was talking about, how Africa needs to stand for himself. When was the last time you had him talking about
Fred, whoever is listening to President William Ruto and taking whatever President William Ruto say serious, then that person must also have a very bigger problem than Ruto. Fred, you trying to tell me to listen to Ruto is like saying that one day a zebra will change its spot and maybe look like a lion. Or let's say a tiger or a leopard will change its spots and maybe look like an antelope. It will never happen. The Ruto I know, this guy will never change. This guy has got this, you know. Fred, have you listened to these conmen? How they speak?
Yeah, don't call my president a conman.
No, I'm not calling Ruto a conman. Yes. I'm talking of the conmen, not Ruto, President William Ruto. Have you listened to these people or someone who have been conned? How these people lure them? They have something in their tongue that the moment you decided...
They're smooth talkers.
The moment you decided to listen to them, they will con you. That is the president we have. Even today you decided to listen to this guy, you will be convinced. But whatever he's saying and whatever he's doing are two different things. Fred, how do you want to tell me that this president will make Kenyans become what he's saying? The same person that was fired twice because of corruption-related cases. Serving as a minister of higher education, there was corruption to the core in that ministry during Kibaki's era. Serving as a minister of agriculture, there was corruption to that core during the Grand Coalition government. Then what miracle do you want this person to do now to actualize whatever he's saying? Can you now tell me, Fred, as one person who is so much enlightened with the current affairs, of all the promises Ruto give to Kenyans, of all the things that he has been saying, do you think that any of them have been implemented and is working 100% smoothly?
Not 100% because he's only into it. Let me speak for him.
It's there for 3 years, but at least. No, wait, Fred.
Houses,
no, wait, Fred.
Houses in different places. They're called affordable houses.
They are called affordable houses.
Yes.
But now let us talk of in terms of priorities. You as a parent.
Okay, priority. Yeah,
in terms of priorities, you know what, Fred? If you are hungry, you need food. Then I tell you, I'll buy you a suit. Do you actually need a suit?
No way.
You are hungry. You need a food. Instead of telling you to ingia hapa kwa kibanda ukule, then I'm here taking you to a very fancy place to buy you suit. Do you actually need it? You don't. Okay. So we have to look at the priority of this country. Up to this point, Fred, I don't trust everything that President William Ruto says. And at this now, I don't think that even if Ruto is given 100 years as a president, he will do anything that will benefit this country.
Okay, let's switch gears. ODM for around 3 minutes.
Yes.
ODM, there's disquiet within ODM. And I've even seen, the Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna, saying, if you guys want to kick me out, you go right ahead and do that. And there are members of the ODM who have said, this guy, we are going to see him off, wacha tupatane kwa hiyo NDC.
I told Mkwaya here last Friday that ODM is just the ODM we know. Yes. And he was trying to justify that is democracy.
Yes.
I will not be surprised. In fact, as from what I can say, Sifuna being a CG of Secretary General of ODM is just a matter of when, but not if he will be kicked out.
Being kicked out.
Yeah, it's just when. We are just waiting for that time. What is happening with ODM is that there is division within the party, and we can all see. Unless that's someone who is not so much aware of what is happening politically. There is a section of ODM that want Raila to run for presidency in 2027. Unfortunately, Sifuna belonged to that part who want Raila to run for the reason best known to them. And there is also another group of ODM who doesn't want Raila to run, but want Raila to support President William Ruto. The only problem is that those who want Raila to support President William Ruto are already
in government,
and they're even ready to sacrifice everything to maintain their loot, whatever they are hitting. You know, one says that it is now when Dr. Prudinga said now it is our time to eat, if you can remember.
Yes,
so those who are hitting does not want this food that is already in the table to be taken away. That's why they are fighting those who want Raila to quit this government, because they know the moment Raila will walk out of this broad-based government, the food will now be taken away from the table, and will now go back to the crying babies they were before. So that is the problem within ODM. There's a group that want Raila to vie for presidency, and this group does not even really want Raila to win. But they have their own political achievement, and they know that the moment Raila is a presidential candidate, then their political seats are secured. Okay? They are so worried that if this man, Raila Amolo Odinga, will not be on the ballot, they might as well lose their political seats. Okay?
But Sifuna looks so secure in terms of if if there's a person I can give my vote, even if he went for the gubernatorial right now,
yes,
Sifuna. And I know from what they're saying,
yes,
is that there's an arrangement within the government. ODM has started telling President William Ruto's government, making demands. If we are going to support you 2027,
yes,
we will have to have Nairobi. We have to take the gubernatorial seat
of Nairobi.
So Sakaja out Neja. It means.
But Sakaja might come back to ODM.
He will not be voted as ODM, not Sakaja. Not Sakaja.
Yes.
I know probably the Westlands Member of Parliament, Wetangula's brother.
Yes.
Tim Wanyonyi might actually become.
Tim Wanyonyi has gone to Bungoma.
Oh, he's
not vying in Nairobi.
He's going to Bungoma?
Yes, Tim Wanyonyi is vying in Bungoma. So in
Sifuna,
Nairobi, you only have Babu Owino.
Babu won't make it.
Dennis Waweru.
They know.
This guy, huyu jamaa wa ICC, Nyakeria ama naitwa aje, someone, who wa DCP.
Yeah.
And the group, okay? But what I know now is that ODM is going to split. And I think Sifuna might just find himself out of ODM. Either by force, he will either submit to the forces within ODM or walk out of ODM. But either way. Okay? But sometimes when you talk of Sifuna, okay, me, I don't always talk of a leader because, you know, sometimes who always talk a lot might seem to be right because they know how to talk. But they are not always right. Okay? I'm not saying Sifuna is not right.
But what Sifuna has been saying makes a lot of sense.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that he who talks a lot, people might think is right. Like today, Rigathi Gachagua talks a lot. People think that Rigathi Gachagua is an angel, but in the real sense, he's not. To me, Rigathi Gachagua is even worse than even President William Ruto. Yeah, but because he just know how to talk, he's good with words, we might think he's right, but he's not. So for Sifuna, I think Sifuna today is having some run, is in a dilemma. He don't know whether to walk out of ODM. And the problem is even having himself is that when I walk out of ODM, where am I going to land? Which political party am I going to join? That is now the biggest problem.
Would you vote for Sifuna as governor of Nairobi?
If he vies,
yes,
I will vote for him because I've seen him what he stands for. And I always gauge a leader on what value that leader stands for. The only thing I like about Sifuna, this guy speaks his mind. And I've always liked the consistent in Sifuna. There is no any given time that Sifuna have supported President William Ruto. From the word go, he has maintained that I'm not going to vote for this government. I was here at the ODM, even when they were signing that MOU agreement, he said, I'm here to execute my mandate by the Constitution as the Secretary General of ODM party. I don't support. You must not always agree with everything or support everything, but you just agree. You say, okay, that is how you see it, it's okay, but I'm not in support. You just go ahead.
I respect Baba a lot.
Yes.
Because there was a time, I remember there was a time Anyang' Nyong'o, when Anyang' Nyong'o and James Orengo were so opposed to Raila, none of them could be able to make it into parliament. Yeah. But right now, Edwin Sifuna is, as the Secretary General of the party, is speaking words that, you know, years ago, you could not even imagine in your wildest imagination that somebody would speak within the Raila faction and still remain. True. Because one of the things that would be happening is that Edwin Sifuna would be going to places and he would be beaten by goons. Yes. But that's not happening.
That's not happening. Yes. You know, the only favor that, you know, the only thing that also given the Sifuna that advantage is the association between ODM and the Kenya Kwanza. If by any chance, you know, it's good that now Sifuna is seemed to be on the side of the Wananchi, of the majority. That's why you have not received so many backlash. But if it was the other way around, let's say ODM was out of government and Sifuna was in government, I don't think it could have been talking of the same story. But that said that I think what Sifuna is saying, Sifuna have been, what I was trying to say, if I talk as Sifuna as an individual and as a leader, now that we are talking about leadership, Sifuna has maintained some kind of consistency. Yeah, he's very Unlike consistent. Some of the leaders, when I talk of someone like a senior member of parliament by the name of Pondo Kaluma, this is a guy that this majority of these leaders, mostly from my home counties of Luo Nyanza, these people seem not to have a very solid stand. They will go wanaenda na upepo. They will always follow crowds, but they cannot stand on their own and say what they believe in. Either they are so weak to stand, or they decided just to be some, I don't know, lack of words. Okay?
Maybe the aspect, you remember George Ngaira telling us here, I'm tired being in the opposition.
Yeah, maybe they are just tired.
I just want to be in the government.
In the government. Yes, so maybe these guys are just tired being in the opposition and being tear gas, so they want just to be in government. Because if you look at it, Fred, from day one, Sifuna has been opposed to this government. Sifuna has never believed in the ideologies of President William Ruto.
Yeah.
He has never believed that President William Ruto is good for this nation. From the time, okay? So, as it is now, and he has maintained it up to date, and even he said that even if this will mean that I'm not being a member of a Secretary General of the ODM party, I'll rather remain a member of ODM party, but I will not vote for President William Ruto.
Yeah.
Even if Raila voted for him, me personally as Sifuna, I will not. That is the quality of a good leader, and for that I give him credit for that. But some of the leaders that we see around, one day will say, they will say one thing, the next thing they will say are very different things, depending on where they are hitting or they are not. And that one does not give well what the kind of leaders we are afraid. So I think that one, we should look at it from a very different perspective and look at the kind of leaders we have in this country and can tell us their characters.
Well said. And one of the things that Wasonga has said is that in the next election, when we get there, please carry your brain with you. Because it will be very critical. I'm not saying you carry your brain so you vote Ruto out. No. I am saying Ruto must...
No, if your brain tells you to vote Ruto, it's okay.
Hold on. Ruto might actually end up being the best president we've ever had.
Yes.
You never know. So carry your brain and vote for yourself.
Yes.
Ask yourself, is what this guy stands for what I stand for? Yes. If it's yes, tick. And not tribe. Forget tribe. I've seen some skirmishes along Kariobangi,
yes,
between two communities, and this is being pushed by politicians.
Exactly.
And it's very unfortunate. The person who's pushing this is in his office enjoying whatever he's enjoying.
With security 24/7.
With security, yet you're killing yourself in the street. It's just madness. So carry your brain. I keep on saying this. I come from Central. We've had 3 presidents, Kenyatta, Kibaki, and Uhuru. And there is nothing in my house or whatever I've been able to achieve that I can tell you Kibaki made this possible for me. Nada. Despite the fact that they come from our area. So let me assure you, it doesn't matter. The Kalenjin nation, majority of them, some of them are very poor right now. Right? The only people who benefit are the close cliques of these people. These guys get in there for the benefit of themselves and their families. So you take care of your family. Think of your family the way they think of their family. When you're going to vote and when you're planning to vote, go there and be selfish. Think, is this guy good for my children's children? No. Or yes, then vote. And that's how we'll get the right kind of leaders into place, right? Let's stop voting from the heart. When we vote from our heart, we vote tribal.
The heart will mislead us.
Yeah, tufikirie. Tufikirie. Sindio? We got to bring the curtains down on this show. Do have yourself a lovely day. And remember, carry your brain wherever you go.